This place that we've sort of come across, we were driving down the road and we're just down in the Wye Valley going through down past Trelleck, and we was just driving along and we saw this wonderful looking place. It's in amongst all these pine trees and it's all flooded out and it just looks incredible. The woods themselves are flooded and it looks like the Alabama swamps. I hope you can see this. This is such an incredible landscape here. The whole forest floor is sort of flooded. And so you've got this beautiful looking areas that are just magical to look at. It looks like the swamps like you see in the deep south in America and things. You may have noticed there, we just caught a glimpse of the very elusive and hard to spot Louise in her natural habitat. We're at Whitestone now, which is in between Trelleck and Tinton in the valley. It's a beautiful spot.
You'll come to watch me dancing just for you. 깊은 바다 속에서 널 데리러 왔어. 어제 나는 잊어버려 우린 함께야. 네 모습이 보여. Will everything 보여. Would you like to swim in the sky? 우리 멀리.
There's Fat Boy in the distance, in amongst the trees. I'm gonna get back over there in a minute and do some food. Going to be using the portable stove again today as opposed to the actual gas stove, because although now that's all been plumbed in, I just want to run a couple of safety tests first before I start properly cooking on it. Okay, we have some chicken, some tomatoes, some cabbage, some courgette, a carrot, a pepper, an onion, some garlic cloves, and a sweet potato. Okay, let's make the magic happen. So while I'm doing some of the chopping here, it's just a little story about the place we're at. We're in a place called Whitestone, which is a fantastic park up. And it used to be somewhere where you could stay overnight. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case, and there's no overnight parking allowed. It's a real issue because years ago, it used to be a great place. Nobody had any problems with it. And that was all fine. But then I think it was during COVID, early part of COVID, when obviously lots of people joined van life. Lots of people grabbed a van and just started doing these things. And not everybody followed the rules that were there. And we came here the one day, and I remember this vividly because I remember talking about it at the time a few years ago. And there was this guy, well, it was a guy, it was a couple. And they were parked pretty much where I'm parked now, almost identically. And they'd strung up washing lines in the trees, and they had their wetsuits and clothes and everything all hung out on these washing lines through the trees. And they got their boards out. I don't know where they'd been or what they'd been doing, and they'd obviously had a really nice time. But they were pretty much entrenched here, and they looked like they'd been here for quite a little while. Now, again, you might argue and say, well, you know, maybe we've got to try everything and all that. And I don't disagree. But there's sort of a way of going about it, isn't it? But this is also, I hasten to add, the only place where I've ever had any grief from anybody for being parked up, which is ironic because I grew up around here. Family still lives around here. And so I've got, as much right to the next person to sort of be here. And yeah, it was a couple of middle-aged women with dog walkers with their dogs, and the sort of little fluffy kind of ones that are actually mongrels, but now they say they're whatever they are, cockapoos, I don't know. But anyway, they they were walking past, and she tutted at me, and she's like, you this is a beauty spot, you guys shouldn't be here. And she was quite sort of aggressive about it. It was something and nothing really, because that water off duck's back, isn't it? But it's the first time I'd ever had anybody be straightforward, outright unpleasant towards me for being in the van. Come and have a smell of this. That's a lovely full pan. So while that's cooking, I'm just going to have a little wander around. So what we're going to do is going to have a look around. They've got this new thing here. Now this was, let me just spin you around 60 back. Now this was behind me. This was like an adventure playground, and it had lots of activity things in there, lots of stuff for kids to do. But it's since changed, so I'm going to have a look at it now. I haven't seen what they've done with it now. So it's now called an exploration zone. One of the things that they have in here, which are incredible, are these amazing wood sculptures. They really are impressive. So there's your one. There's one there in the background over here. And there's more over here. These are genuinely really impressive. So you can see the ants up there. So what else do we have? Oh, we've got a little mini Stonehenge over here. We've got this pathway here to zigzag. Okay, so looks like we're all doing this little zigzag pathway. Here we go. So far, so good. Okay, over the one log. There you go. So it's hardly SAS selection, but nonetheless, I feel like I'm achieving something here. Okay, over more logs. Right, over we go. And then up to some kind of fortress thing. Okay, making your way through that. Oh, there's a tunnel down here. So we're going down the other side. And there's a tunnel, which I'm not going to go through right now because it's very, very muddy. And to put it mildly, if you can see, I'm wearing the most ridiculous old battered trainers. So yeah, I'm going to give that one a miss. Let's go over it instead. I was saying about the no overnight parking and, and trying to sort of justify why they would do it. The problem is, everywhere you look, there's plenty of justification. There's glass bottles all over the floor here, broken bottles, half-drunk Pepsi bottles and rubbish. This is just thrown over the edge. This is where children play, and I find it very, very hard to not agree with the powers that be sometimes when I come to places like this and I see how we leave it. So I'll pick all this up now before we go, but what a blooming mess. Right, so we're going to have our food now, and I think that worked out really well. So that's a lovely chicken and, well, I don't know what it is, chicken and something.